Welcome back. This is how to pick products for your website. It's really crucial. You want to do e-commerce, you've got a beautiful website, you want to do the customer service, you want to do the shipping and the packing and everything, and you want to sell Duracell batteries. Let's go through it. Are they available? Yes. Is it niche? No. Is there a barrier to entry? No. Are you the first to market? No. Can you stack them up in your bedroom and ship them out in packets? Yes. How much are you going to make per packet? Pennies. Will you be able to buy in the bulk that will enable you to make enough money to make this worthwhile and pay for the website? Will you provide a better service? It's not enough. Storage, not a problem. Is it an expensive product? No. See, we've got a lot of no's to that. Let's think. Drones, 5 years ago. Are they available? Yes. Is it niche? It was. Barrier to entry? Yes, because they're not readily available. Are you the first to market? That's the point of why I'm going through drones. Better service, doesn't matter. Storage, are they bulky items? They're easy to store. Can others easily do that? Yes, with drones. Are they expensive? They can be. Let's go through another product. So we did pushchairs and car seats. Were they available? Yes. Were they niche? No. Were they barrier to entry? Not really. Were we the first to market? No. Easy to store? No. That was a barrier to entry. Are they expensive? Relatively, yes. Let's take this one further. I'm going to say tractors. Are they available? Yes. Are they niche? No. Barrier to entry? Well, they're very expensive, so yes, and they're difficult to store, so yes. Are you the first to market? You'll be the first to market if you're the Tesla tractor. So what would be an ideal product? So for me, you've made a product. So let's say we went through it with drones. You made the Peloton. So you were in charge of the availability. It was niche. Peloton barrier to entry? Well, yeah, someone's got to make an equivalent Peloton. First to market. That's the point of saying about the Peloton. I mean, the Peloton's a variation on something already available. The service doesn't matter. Store, they're very big. Can you imagine the Peloton warehouse? Must have been absolutely monstrous. Is it expensive? Yes, let's go with yes. So not a bad product. So what's new now if you were trying to pick your product? Just trying to think. You've got the drone market that's relatively new. AI right now is new. NVIDIA GPUs is new. Trying to think of a new product. Solar lighting. It's a play on something that exists. It's available. Barrier to entry, no, not really. Not so good. So you go through these when you're making your choice. You know, if you made your own protein powder or supplement, you're in charge of the availability. It's niche because it's yours and you'll have a new angle on the product. Barrier to entry, someone's got to make their protein powder. First to market, you're not, but you are the first to market with your particular brand. Storage shouldn't be too difficult. Tubs of it, dollars, it's probably not expensive. This is key for me on the products you choose. And don't just think, oh, I'm going to do next day delivery. Everyone else will do next day delivery. Don't just do free delivery. Everyone else will do free delivery. One click, two click checkout. It's not a barrier to entry. Everyone else will catch up. It's not enough to just do something better. So think really carefully about, and let me explain why I put availability. We saw this time and time again. We'd have a very popular car seat or pushchair, and we'd have stock of it. and it would sell really well, X many units per week. Suddenly we'd run out of stock, or the supplier would run out of stock, because we'd order regularly to keep in stock of the product. Once that had gone out of stock, for some reason, again, I don't have the answer. When it came back into stock, let's say you're selling 10 units a week. When it came back into stock, it never sold 10 units a week as soon as it landed back in. We always imagined the customer as a intelligent, all-seeing being. And it took time to get the sales from 2 units a week back up to 10 units a week. Unexplainable. You'd think it would just literally head back exactly as it was. My argument to this is that people found alternatives when it went out of stock and bought that instead. And when it came back into stock, it took time to convert those people back to the initial product. So really important that you have a good supply chain, because people will go and buy other things. It's probably the most important thing, actually. If you're making something, you cannot go out of stock. Even put the price up so that you remain in stock until the next stock arrives. I would strongly recommend that if you have a website and are just looking at these videos to see what I'm saying. Remain in stock. Niche. So let's say right now, this might not apply to any of you that are watching. If I was the retailer for, let's say, Joey or Joy, I just say it as Joy, a baby brand, I would want to be the only one selling it, and I would want commitment from the manufacturer that they keep me in stock and keep me as the only retailer. And then you would commit from your side, from your website, to be the ultimate retailer for that one brand. And that would be a great setup to be in. If you can get exclusive e-commerce distribution for a brand, that's obviously a barrier to entry, because you'll have signed terms, you'll have agreed a 10-year contract. But barrier to entry is can someone set up a website in their bedroom, store it in the garage, and ship it out from the post office? If someone can do that, you have no barrier to entry. Because if there is margin available, people will come and do it. Like the battery example, I could set up a website within 24 hours, stock batteries and sell them and undercut you. First to market, that's the drone example a few years ago when drones first came out, or just any new product. The websites that got set up first with the drones, got the contracts with the manufacturers, they'll have the strongest Google ranking. And they'll be the ones that you'll struggle to always beat, because they have that domain from before you. It's quite a key one. We muscled in on the baby market, but we were always fighting an uphill battle against the more established players that had websites for like a decade before we did. They just had a history. I'll keep saying it and I'll say it again. A better service is not enough. You have to provide a great service, but providing a better service won't get you to stay in business. Storage. For me, having a bulky product was a advantage, because that's a barrier to entry. And if you can therefore run a warehouse effectively, it's a logistics operation, e-commerce. You're not really e-commerce. You're logistics. You're receiving boxes, you're shipping boxes. People describe it as e-commerce. You're in the business of logistics. And so your warehouse operation and your storage and your stock management, it's beyond critical. I would also always go for expensive products. Reason being, barrier to entry. Who's got enough money to buy 100, 20,000 whatevers? Not many. So you've got a perfect barrier to entry by staying with the expensive products. Like the battery example, everyone can buy some AAA batteries. Not many people can buy 100 bugaboos for... A bugaboo's a pusher, by the way, for $1,000 each. critical things before you commit. And I can now take you through an example. We set up we grew horizontally from baby equipment to pet equipment. And the pet equipment website had dog food, dog beds, cat beds, hutches, leads, collars, all this stuff. And what we very quickly found was that even though we're doing hundreds of orders a day, the pennies in profit were didn't cover costs, because you've got all your baseline costs and you're making these tiny margins on hundreds of products. And yes, it keeps you busy, it keeps volume, but it's completely pointless operation. And everyone can store collars, leads, dog beds, cat beds, dog food, cat food. So you've got to be really careful. The one bit we found ourselves actually making a go of it was the high-end dog beds, and the dog food and cat food is a complete waste of time. The other area was specialty foods, so llama mix in 20-kilo bags, rabbit mix in 20-kilo bags. Not many people are storing those because they come in on pallets. You have to buy 50 at a time, and they're difficult to ship, difficult to handle. And so we slotted in that niche area. So you probably need one of these strongly, not the availability. You either has to be niche, need a barrier, first to market, storage difficulties, or dollars. Availability, I'm going to cross that one out, because your product, it has to be available, but it's not a mutually exclusive condition, whereas you can win if it's niche, if you've got a barrier, if you're first to market, if you're difficult to store, or it costs a lot of money to buy the product. So so we learned a lot with the pet website. It kept us busy, and it didn't make any money, but it was a lesson for sure. And the bit that I hope you learn from my lesson, is this a lesson? Who owns the market? And what I mean by this is, so nursery products, baby products, they were owned by independent companies, all going against each other. Whereas the pet food industry, pet food specifically, a whole load of the brands were owned by Nestle, and a whole load of the brands were owned by Mars. And those two Goliath companies had lost complete control of the dog food and cat food arena, so much so that they're being sold for no money at all. What they were was for supermarket chains and discounters was loss leaders. So they get you in to buy your bag of Whiskers cat biscuits for £1, and then they'd hope you buy something else, because the way we saw the pricing was that there was no way there was margin on the price they were selling it at. So look who controls the market. And if it's a huge mammoth company, you're probably not going to get anywhere, because they'll have their own way of getting out to suppliers, and it won't be through you. It's quite key. Nursery was much better on that in that regard. There wasn't any huge company that owned lots of brands. I can actually touch on one. So Newell, it's a PLC listed on the US stock market, bought Baby Jogger. And when they did, they put it in with 50 other brands, and literally Baby Jogger's demise was written. And that product died a death very quickly, because this big Goliath behind it just didn't do any marketing, didn't do any pushing, had no care on the downstream. Whereas the previous owners were pushing the product, still making improvements, still pushing. I think I've just said pushing twice. Still innovating. And as soon as it went into a Goliath, they thought it'd just be a cash cow, and it died. So I hope that's useful. I hope I've covered everything. I don't want to go on too long, because it's pretty, for me, it's pretty clear what you need to get if you're doing products. And I just, again, want to touch on this drop shipping craze that all I see on the internet is drop ship and, make £1 million and all this nonsense. It's complete nonsense that you're going to bring across a product, stick it on a site and make loads of money. Stop wasting your time. You need to find niche, barrier to entry, first to market, difficult to store, expensive products that are available. That's it.